My name is Guts, but you might know me by another name, like the Black Swordsman or the 100-Man Slayer. I have spent my entire life walking through a nightmare that would break most men in an instant. I have seen the face of God and found it was a monster. I have been betrayed by the one person I loved and chewed up by demons only to be spat back out. I am still here despite it all. This is not a hero's journey, but a story about what it means to keep breathing when the entire world wants you dead. I didn't start with a chance, because I started in a pool of blood and mud beneath a hanging tree. My mother was already dead when I slid into this world, so the very first thing I knew was the cold silence of a corpse. I was picked up by mercenaries, not out of kindness, but out of superstition and pity. Gambino was the man who took me in, and he put a sword in my hand before I could even walk properly. It was too big and heavy, just like everything else in my life would be. I held it because I had to. In the mud, with the rain soaking my skin, I learned the first lesson of existence, that you fight or you die. A father is supposed to protect you, but Gambino sold me out for a handful of silver coins. He let a man walk into my tent and steal my dignity. Later, when he lost his leg, he blamed me and called me cursed before trying to kill me in my sleep. I loved him in my own twisted way because he was all I had, but I still killed him. I ran my sword through his throat in self-defense and watched the light go out of his eyes. That was my childhood, running through the woods, bleeding and screaming with arrows flying past my head. I had no home and no family. There was just the sword on my back and the knowledge that trust is a poison that gets you killed. Then came the light from a man named Griffith who was so bright, he hurt to look at. He beat me by dislocating my shoulder and knocking me into the dirt before telling me I belonged to him. For the first time, I wanted to belong. The Band of the Hawk was a place where I fit rather than just an army. I swung my sword for him and became his blade. We were invincible as we took castles that couldn't be taken and defeated armies 10 times our size. I thought I had found a campfire to warm my hands by, along with friends like Casca and Rickert and Pippin and Judo. I looked at them and thought maybe the nightmare was over. But I was a fool. Griffith said once that a true friend is someone who follows their own dream instead of following in another's wake. I looked around at the Hawks and saw they were all warming themselves by the fire of Griffith's ambition, while I was just a moth drawn to the flame. I realized I had nothing of my own aside from the ability to kill, so I left. I walked away from the only family I ever knew because I needed to stand equal to him as a friend rather than a servant. That singular moment of choosing my own path shattered everything. It broke him and doomed us all. I am telling you this story because everyone fights their own eclipse. If you are still standing, you are one of us. Hit the subscribe button to join the ranks because we survive together. This brings me to the day the sun died. Everything was red as the sky bled and the ground screamed. I came back to rescue him, but the man I found in that dungeon was a broken husk. The Behelites screamed, and I watched them die. Judo and Pippin and Corcus were torn apart by monsters straight out of hell. Griffith did not look away as he made the choice to sacrifice all of us for wings and a crown. I watched him violate Casca while I was pinned down, cutting off my own arm just to try and reach her. I lost my eye and my arm and my brother's, but I didn't die. The brand on my neck bleeds and attracts them, but it also reminds me that I am still here. After that, I stopped being a man and became a force of nature made of iron and hatred. For 2 years, I hunted the apostles hiding in human skin. I couldn't sleep because the ghosts came back the moment I closed my eyes, so I fought. I replaced my arm with a cannon and picked up the Dragon Slayer, which is a sword no human should be able to lift. They call it a sword, but it is more like a heap of raw iron that crushes and breaks and destroys. I thought rage would be enough, and that the pain would stop if I killed enough of them. Fire burns you out and leaves you hollow, as I was becoming the very monster I hunted. There is a dog in my head that appears as a black, rabid beast with glowing eyes. It isn't a demon from the outside, but rather it is my own trauma and anger and desire to hurt everything that comes near me. It whispers to me when the pain gets too loud and tells me to give in. It wants me to stop caring about protecting anyone and just let the slaughter take over. The real battle is not against the apostles or the God Hand, but the war against losing your own humanity. The beast pulls at the chain every time I swing that sword because it wants to consume me. Sometimes I am terrified that I might let it. Then came the armor, which is a suit of black steel that feels like a coffin. It allows me to fight beyond the limits of flesh and blood. It pierces my flesh with steel pins to hold me together when my bones break, and forces me to keep moving when I should be dead. It numbs the pain and shuts off the fear, but it takes something in return. It eats your senses until you lose the taste of food and the warmth of a touch. Color fades from the world as it turns you into a perfect weapon that has no soul. I wear it because I have to, since the enemies I face are gods. Every time the helmet closes, I wonder if I will ever open it again. I tried to be alone, but it didn't work, because they found me. Isidro, the thief who wants to be a hero, and Shirka, the little witch who pulls me back from the abyss, joined me. Farnese, who used to burn people like me, came along with Serpico, and even Puck. I tried to push them away and told them they were liabilities, but they saved me. They saved my mind rather than just my life. They reminded me that struggle is about protecting instead of just killing. I looked at their sleeping faces around the campfire and realized I was fighting for them instead of revenge. The sword got lighter and the darkness receded just a fraction. I learned that you cannot heal a wound by cutting deeper, but only by letting someone else stitch it up. Then there is Casca, who was the woman who led armies and the woman I loved. She was a shell for years, with her mind broken by the eclipse and unable to even speak my name. I dragged her through hell while protecting her from demons that smelled the brand on her skin. I watched her look at me with fear because I reminded her of the pain. Having the person you would die for look at you like a monster breaks you more than torture ever could. I kept walking to the end of the world, to Elfhelm, just for the slim and impossible chance that she might come back. I hoped she might smile at me one more time. Wiseis was real for a moment on that island of cherry blossoms, but peace is a lie in this world. Griffith found us, and he ignored us rather than just defeating us. He took her right out of my hands. I swung the sword that has killed dragons and gods, but it passed right through him. I couldn't even touch him as the island crumbled and the sanctuary burned. I was left kneeling in the dirt with my sword in the mud, totally helpless. I was back at zero after all the blood and the struggle. It makes you want to scream at the sky and give up. You want to just lie down and let the earth take you. The Skull Knight calls it causality, or fate, which is the idea that everything is written in a script we cannot read. Griffith is the writer who manipulates the world like a chessboard, but I am the piece that refuses to move where it is told. They say struggle is pointless and that you cannot fight a god. Maybe they are right, and maybe I am just a mad dog barking at the moon, but I do not know how to do anything else. If fate is a river flowing downstream, then I am the rock that breaks the current. I do not fight because I know I will win, but because submission is a death worse than dying. I deny their story and write my own, as long as I draw breath. You might ask why I do it, or why you get up in the morning when the rent is late and the body aches and the heart is broken. We do it because we are strugglers, and that is our nature. Pain is proof that you are still alive, and scar tissue is just the armor you earned. The world is dark and cruel and indifferent, but even the smallest spark of hope burns like a supernova in that darkness. I do not carry this sword for glory, but because there are things in this world worth protecting. I carry it even if my hands are too bloody to hold them properly, or even if I fail. The act of standing up is the victory. There is a quote from a man in your world named Nietzsche, who said that he who has a why to live can bear almost any how. My why has changed over the years, from survival to revenge. Now it is simply to be the shield for those who cannot fight. That purpose is heavier than the Dragon Slayer, and it crushes you, but it also grounds you. That weight keeps your feet on the ground when the wind of destiny tries to blow you away. Find your weight and the thing that makes you grit your teeth and take one more step. That is your sword, so polish it and sharpen it and never let it drop. I do not know how my story ends, but the manga continues, and I am still here, on this boat, fighting. It does not matter if I die or kill him or find a quiet place to rest. What matters is the path and the scars I collected, along with the people I met. You are fighting your own war right now, and I can see it in your eyes. It is good if you feel weak and small, because that means you have room to grow. Do not pray for an easy life or for the rain to stop. Build a roof and forge a sword. You must look the darkness in the eye and smile when it comes. You are a struggler, and that is the only title that matters, rather than king or god or hero. You endure and defy and live. Take it from a man who has walked through hell and back, that the sun always rises. It might be blocked by an eclipse today, but it is there, waiting. Join us if this story spoke to the fire inside you. Subscribe to the channel, and we will walk this path together. Put your back into it and keep struggling.